See, once you are coming to lab, okay, first you need to create one folder. Okay, how to create the folder is first open my PC. Okay, then open any one drive, C, D or E, anything. Okay, open any one driver. Okay, in this window, just right click anywhere, click on new and click on folder. Okay, just give your folder name. For example, 560. Okay, suppose. Okay, this is your folder. Okay, I will just remove this 501. Okay, 560. This is your folder. Here you need to save your all your programs. Okay, now after creating your folder, open dev C++. Okay, this is the dev C++ icon. Okay, in all systems it is going to install. If it is not installed, I will give the software. Just install that dev C++ in your machine. Okay, after installing, you will find this icon. Okay, dev C++ icon. Just open this thing. Double click this one, it is going to open. Okay, this is your dev C++ window. Here you need to write your code. Here only you need to compile your code, and here only you will see output of your file. Everything is going to done within this particular dev C++ itself. Okay, in C language you have used the turbo C software. In the same way, here also you can use turbo C++, but for our example, I have considered this dev C++ is very easy and user friendly. Okay, all of you go through this dev C++ itself. Okay, then here you need to write your code. Click on file. First you need to take one file, source file you need to take. Okay, click on file and new source file. Okay, here you can write your code, and here you can compile your code, and you can execute your code, and you can see your output here itself. Okay, for sample, first I will just give one like sample hello world program. Then after we'll move to our 10th program and 11th program. Okay, see, first you need to include header files, right? Hash include iostream. Okay, iostream is your header file, and namespace using namespace std. After writing these two statements, okay, after writing these two statements, here you can write your global things. For example, if you have any classes or class declaration, you need to write here. If you have any global variable, you need to write global variables here. Okay, already in our second unit and third unit, we have written some classes, right? Here only we have written our classes. Then after writing your global thing, global means like classes, okay, or like any global variables. Okay, those things you need to write after including your like iostream and the namespace. Then after your main function. Okay, if you are writing in dev C++, you need to write main function signature is int main. Okay, int main parenthesis. Then after open bracket and close bracket. Okay, this is your general code for any program. Okay, if you consider addition of two numbers, if you consider factorial, if you consider class program, if you consider employee, student, any program, this is your for any program, these lines of code is mandatory. Okay, see here you have written int, right? Okay, this main function has to return something. Okay, just give return 0. Okay, you are not returning anything, just you are returning only 0. Okay, see, as I said, for many programs I already said, okay, actual execution starts from the main itself. Okay, from here only execution is going to start. Okay, in this example, simple example of what I am going to do, I'm just going to print like hello CSC in the output, not hello world, hello CSC, one text in the output. Can anyone say that statement? How I can print hello CSC in the output?
By using cout.
By using cout object. I'm saying cout is one object. Okay, we will talk about this thing in 4th unit once again in iostream. Okay, this is one object is used to print some message in the output. Okay, print some variables in the output screen. Okay, The same way, if I want to read something from the keyboard, which object I need to use?
Cin.
Cin object. Okay, here I'm just writing one message, hello CSC, simple message I'm just writing. Okay, within the double quote, whatever you have written, that will be printed in the output screen. Okay, for example, after printing that particular message, if you want to move your cursor to next line, we have end L statement. It is one manipulator used to move move your cursor to into the next line, which is similar to new line character in your C language. Okay, that new line character also you can use like this /n. /n also you can use here because the C++ is the extension to your C language. Okay, whatever you have used in your C language, those you can use in C++ as well. Okay, additionally, we are adding that object-oriented feature here. Okay, simple message. Hello CSC. I'm going to print in the output screen. Okay, this is the code I have just written. After writing your code, you need to save your file. Okay, to save your file, just write down the steps. Click on file. Okay, you can see here save button, or else directly press Control S. Okay, Control S is for saving your file. Okay, just click on Control S or file save. Okay, now it will ask where you need to save this particular file. Okay, once you are clicking on the save button, it will ask where you need to save your file. Okay, here you need to mention where you want to like save your file. For example, I have in the starting I have created one folder, right? Okay, 560 I have created. Okay, where you have created in my PC. Okay, or like in C drive. In C drive, I have created one folder 560. Okay, this is very important. Most of the students will get confused here itself. While saving your file, you need to move to your folder first. Then after you need to save. Okay, here my folder is 560. Now you are in 560 folder. Okay, you can give your file name. Okay, like any name based on your program information. For example, you are doing hello world program, just give hello. If you are doing addition of two numbers, addition.cpp. Okay, if you are doing some factorial, fact.cpp, like that, you can give your file name. Here, while saving your file, one thing you need to remember, file name dot cpp. Okay, this is the file extension for any C++ program, dot cpp. Okay, first you should give one file name dot cpp. In this way, you need to save your file. Where you are saving now? In your 560 folder. After moving into 560 folder, then only you need to save your code. Okay. Otherwise, if I'm not moving to 560 folder, somewhere my program is going to save. Okay. So in the next time, if I wanted to access that particular hello.cpp, I don't know where it is saved. I cannot access that file, right? That is the reason. Just create one folder, then after save your files into your folder itself. Okay. Now your file, I'm just this hello.cpp I'm saving inside this particular 560 folder. You can click on save. Okay. Now you can observe hello.cpp, file name hello.cpp. It is saved in which folder? In our 560 folder. Okay, if you want to check whether it is saved in our folder or not, you can go to your folder. Okay, in C drive, 560 folder. You can observe hello.cpp file. CPP file is saved at in this particular date 954. Just you can see 954. This file has been saved in our folder. Okay. In the next time also, when if you want to access the same program, you can access that thing. Okay. So now your program is saved in your code. Then next step is you need to compile your code. Okay, just write down the steps. After saving your file, okay, compile your code. For compilation, click on execute, and you can see compile option. Okay, then click on compile. Or else shortcut is F9. Okay, directly you can press F9 for compilation. Okay, you know what is the use of compilation and everything, right? Okay, I'm not going into in depth. Just click on compile. Okay, once you are compiling your code, if you have any error, those errors you can see in compile log. Okay, this is your this window is your compilation results. If you have any errors, you can see here. Okay, here now I am seeing 0 errors and 0 1. For example, if I am not using C++ syntax, suppose I am forgot to place the semicolon at the end of statement. Okay, now compile your code. Okay, after every modification, you need to save your file. Okay, just click on Ctrl S, it is going to save. Okay, then click on compile. Now you can see you are getting one error. Okay, in the compilation log, you can see like expected semicolon before return. Okay, it is giving clear information to you. Okay, expected semicolon before return statement. Okay, here you can see this is the return statement. Before this return statement, it is expecting one semicolon. Okay, where it is? Here. Just give the semicolon and save your file once again and then click on compile. Now your error is going to remove. Now you can see 0 errors and 0 warnings. Now after compiling your code, you need to execute your code or you need to run your code. Okay, to run your code, same, click on execute and click on run. To run your code, click on execute, click on run option. Okay, or else shortcut is F10. For compilation, F9. For running your code, F10. Okay, click on F10. Okay, now you can see this is the output window where you can print some whatever the message you have written inside your code, like by using cout statement, those things will be appear in your output screen. This is your output screen. You can see hello CSV. Okay, clear, right? If you understand these points, you can write any program. Any program means okay. That means these steps are mandatory for any program. Okay. How to open Dev C++, then how to take one new source file, then write your code. Okay. After writing your code, save your file with .cpp is the extension. Okay. While saving, you need to save your file in your own folder. Okay, just move to your folder, then after save your file with some file name .cpp. Okay, see after that compilation and run options, compilation and execution steps. Okay, for compilation, click on execute, click on compile. If you have any errors, just like remove those errors. Okay, as per syntax of C++. Then after running your code. Running your code means you are going to execute your code. Okay, to execute, click on execute, then run, or else press F10. Why you are lefting? Most of the students are lefting from the meeting. Yeah, I will give the attendance based on your how many minutes that you have attended in the meeting. Okay, we are not releasing the minutes. Some students are attending 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Then what is the use of attending like class? Any doubts in this in the simple program?
Oh, sorry. No.
If you have any doubts, if you are not unable to speak in the class, just post in the chat box as well. Okay, I can clarify. Okay, this is a simple program. After that, like you can execute any type of for any program, the same thing only you need to do. First, you should write your code. Okay, then save your file in your folder and then compile and run your code. Okay. See, coming to our like 10th program. Just first see this 11th program one. Okay, then after that I will explain the 10th one. See, our 11th program is write a C++ program to use pointer for both base and derived classes and call the member function. That means, like we have two classes here, one is base class, one is derived class. Okay, for base class we need to create one pointer. Then for derived class also, by using base class pointer, we are going to access the members of like derived classes. Okay, already we have seen this example while discussing our top like virtual functions topic. Okay, simple thing. First we need to create one class. Okay, then we need to derive one class from that base class. Okay, whatever the functions that you have inside base class, those functions you just override inside the derived class. Then by using base class pointer, you are going to access like members of base class and the derived class. Okay, simple. These statements are mandatory, right? Like IO stream, header file, and namespace. Okay, what is this thing? Can anyone tell what is this thing in this program?
Sir, it is a comment, sir.
It is a comment. It is multi-line comment. Okay, we have one more type, that is single line comment. Single line comment you can write by using these
Double
two
slashes.
backslashes. Okay, in this way, like you can write single line comment. Okay, this is a single line and this one is a multi-line. Then here you can observe in the previous example I have what I said. After writing these two statements, you have any classes, you need to write those classes here. Then after main function. Okay, here main program is here it is started. Actual main function here it is started. Okay, but before that we have written classes. Okay, class base. Okay, this is one class. I'm just declaring here class name. Okay, class is a keyword here, base is a class name. Then inside class we can write some member functions and you can write some data members also. Okay, private members, protected members, and public members. Okay, here I'm going with public members. Okay, public one function. This is a virtual function. Okay, virtual void print. Already we have seen that virtual functions are the functions which can be declared inside base class by using virtual keyword. Okay, and what is the use and everything we have seen in the previous classes. Here just see I have one virtual function void print. A simple statement, it is printing print base class, means it is a print function actually print function related to base class. In the same way I have one member function which is not like virtual function, it is simple member function inside your base class, that is show. Okay, I'm just simply printing show method in base class. Okay, then what I'm doing, I'm just deriving one class name is derived by using base class. Okay, which mode it is? Public mode, right? See, in three ways you can derive one class from another class: private mode, public mode, and protected mode. Okay, see, I'm deriving this class by using public mode. If you are deriving one class from another class using public mode, means all the public members will become public here. Private members you cannot access. Protected members will become protected in derived class. That concept we have already seen. Okay, here you are just deriving like this base class into derived class. Okay, in derived class also I have one like member function, that is print. Okay, one more member function show. If you observe here, print is already there in base class and show also already is there in base class. Okay. If I write the same with the same signature and same number of parameters in derived class, that concept you can call it as, can anyone say what is that concept?
Overriding, sir.
Overriding. Okay, same method name, same signature is called method overriding. This can be possible in inheritance only. Okay, inside single scope you cannot write with the same signature. Okay, or like in inheritance concept, base class members you can override inside derived class. Okay, this is the way you can override your class. Okay, now you have overridden these two methods inside derived class. Okay, like here also I'm just printing. This is related to derived class to show the difference which function is going to execute that to show that difference and this differing with the this statement. Print this function related to derived class and this show function also related to derived class. Now, if I want to call these methods, first what you need to do, you need to create one object. By using that object reference, you can access the public members. Okay, inside like main function, I'm just creating one class derived. Okay, by using derived class, you can access derived class members and base class members as well. Okay, but in the previous in the yesterday's class we have already seen what happens if I call by using derived class object. I'm going to access only derived class members. Okay, because these functions are overridden by using like overridden the method which are present in base class. Okay, by using derived class object, you can only like access these methods. But in our program, what they are asked, okay, you can see use pointers for both base and derived classes and call the member functions. By using pointers, we need to call the like members of base class as well as derived class. Okay. Now for that, what I'm doing, I have just created one pointer base. Okay, this is the way you can create. See, for objects also having some address. That address you can store in your pointer, right? Pointer concept itself that. Okay, pointer means it is a variable which can hold the address of some another variable. Okay, in the same way, objects also having its own address. That address you can store in object pointer. Here you can say this is object pointer because this is this bptr is a pointer of type base type. What is base here? It is a class. So that this base pointer is pointing to, this is the type of class type, means base class type pointer. Now this base pointer is going to point to derived class object. See, base class pointer now pointing to derived class object. Inside derived class, you have base class members as well as derived class members, right? Okay. To call members of a class by using pointer, we'll use this pointer to member operator. Okay. If it is a normal, for example, if it is a object, you need to use some d dot like show or print. Okay. In this way, you can call. If it is a object, if it is a pointer, you should use this pointer to base pointer to member operator. Okay, this is the pointer to member operator. I'm just calling print method and the show method. Okay. See, now your pointer is pointing to like derived class object. Okay, if I call this particular print method, what happens? If I call this show method, what happens? Just observe this output. See, by using base class pointer, you are able to call derived class print method. Okay. For example, why it is calling derived class members means, for example, if I remove this virtual keyword, because of this virtual keyword, it is like you are able to accessing like this method. Okay, if I'm not keeping that virtual keyword, it is going to call base class members only, because by using base class pointer, you can access only base class like members. Okay, print base class, show base class. Okay, but in our example, they are asked to use virtual, by using virtual keyword, you should access derived class members as well. Just give virtual, by using virtual function, you are in a position to achieve that runtime polymorphism. For runtime polymorphism also, you just write the same example. This example only you can write for virtual functions. Okay, for runtime polymorphism also. Okay, now this particular function, okay, now you have overridden here. At the time of running your code, your function call is bound with function definition at the time of running your code. Okay, this particular function call now bound with this particular like void print function. Now it is going to execute derived class print method, print derived, and show base class. Okay, by using base class pointer, you are calling derived class object. Okay, this particular function call is bound at the time of running your code, so that you are in a position to achieve that runtime polymorphism. Suppose this particular code not there, okay, this particular code not there at the time that compiler at the time of running your code, your compiler is going to execute this particular base class or like method. Base class function is going to call. You are not saying compiler to execute this method and this method. At the time of running your code, compiler itself is deciding which which definition has to execute. Okay, this is called runtime polymorphism by using virtual function. For that also you can write the same example. Okay, for this particular program also you can write the same thing. Okay, just this program just you can write for this particular 11th program. Simple, already we have seen in the last like for in the virtual functions also we have seen the same thing, and that okay, the runtime polymorphism case also we have seen the same example. Same code you can write for your 11th code. Okay, I will just share this particular thing in your like group. Okay, you can just write this thing also in your observation. Okay. See, after executing your code only, you can write your output. For example, if you have like laptop or personal computer, you can execute in your like compiler. Then after you can write your output. Okay. As of now, just write that program in your observation itself. Okay. From 15th onwards, you are coming to college, right? We have like 2 weeks lab sessions. In those sessions, we will execute more programs, not only our like lab syllabus only. Okay, regular examples also we will see after completing these. Okay, coming to this 11th, it is clear, right?
Yes, sir.
Then we will move to the 10th program. 10th program also simple, related to this classes and pointers concept only. You can see, write a C++ program to create an array of pointers, invoke functions using array objects. See, first you should know what is an array. Array means we can store similar type data in a single name, right? If it is a variable, you can hold only like single value. For example, if you want to store 10 different numbers inside one single name, it is not possible with variable concept. For that, we are going with arrays concept. Okay, array is a data type. Okay, which can hold multiple values of same type. Okay, see here what they are asking is write a C++ program to create an array of pointers. Okay, see, you are making like one array. That array consists only pointers. Okay, for example, here I will just write array means simple int some a or array name. Okay, like you can take some size. For example, 5 elements are there. You can take 5 elements like this equals to like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maximum 5 elements you can store, right? Okay, this is an array. Okay, this is an array of type integer type which is holding 5 numbers. Okay, they are asking create an array of pointers. Okay, see, we need to create one array. Suppose some 5. Okay, which is not having the the numbers. It must having the pointers like some suppose star ptr1. Okay, ptr2. Okay, like that. It has ptr1, ptr2 like that. We need to create the one array like this. Okay, after creating this array, we need to invoke functions using these pointers, array of pointers. Okay, that I will show with some example. Okay, here what I am going to do, I'm going to create some classes. Okay, for those classes, okay, I'm going to like create pointers. For class, you can declare one pointer, right? For example, base class is there. Some base star ptr means ptr means it is a base class pointer. Like that, you can create multiple pointers. All the pointers you are making it into one single name. Okay, so that you can call it as it is a array of pointers. You can just observe this code so that you can easily understand what I am doing. Okay, same. These two lines are same. Okay, like class A is there, simple one function, virtual void show. Okay, it is just printing like A in the output. Okay, simple statement A in the output. This is virtual function. Okay, in virtual function only we have used the pointer concept, right? Base class pointer is pointing to derived class object. Then after you are able to call like base class member as well as derived class member. Okay, same concept here also I am using. This is the base class. This base class I am deriving. This is a virtual function, right? Okay, if it is virtual function means like you can override this particular function in derived class. Okay, here you can see class B. Class B I'm like deriving from class A. Class B deriving from class A, single inheritance. Okay, up to here single inheritance. Same, whatever this show function is there, I'm just overriding inside this particular derived class. Then class C I'm just creating. Okay, class C. Okay, deriving from class A only. Okay, see, I will just try. This is class A. From class A, I'm just deriving class B. Again, from class A, I'm just deriving class C. Okay, like that, I'm deriving like 4 classes from the A class itself. Which inheritance in anyone?
Hierarchical, sir.
Hierarchical inheritance. Okay. In this way, I'm just declaring multiple classes here. Okay. Here is from class A only I'm deriving class B. Okay. Same function I'm overriding. Okay. Just changing the message itself. Here it is printing B. And just same class C. Same show function I'm overriding or printing C in the output. Same class D deriving from A override like show function and print in class E. Okay, like deriving from A. Okay, overriding function show printing E in the output. Okay, up to here simple one class, one base class deriving multiple classes from the same base class is called hierarchical inheritance following here. Okay, whatever the function, this function I am overriding in all. Okay, this show function I'm just overriding in all classes. You can observe void show. here also void show. Same signature is there. Okay, this concept you can say overriding. In all the five classes, I'm just overriding this show method. Now, thing is, we need to make like array of pointers. Okay, array of pointers. That concept we need to come include as per our program requirement. Okay, you can create objects for all the classes, right? For A class one object, B class object, C class object, D class object, E class object. Is this the way to create objects, right? Creating object means you are allocating some memory. Okay, class name space object name. This is the creation of object. Okay, for all the classes I have just created object. Now this is the thing they are asked. Actual point is this one. Okay, see in the previous case what we did. Okay, in the comment I'm just writing. Okay, for example you have base, you are taking some base class pointer ptr. Okay, that you are assigning to some derived class object. In this way you have done in the previous example. Okay, this derived class object you are storing inside pointer. Now you can see in this example I'm just creating one array of pointer of type a type pointers I'm just creating here. Okay, here a is the base class, right? For this, in place of base I'm just taking like this particular a. Okay, now this is a pointer array I'm saying, because if it is a pointer variable star ptr, if it is an array you need to use this square bracket. Remember that arrays concept. If it is a variable, for example if it is a variable int a you are seeing, if it is an array int a of square bracket. See, square bracket you can mention size. Okay, if you are not size means whatever the elements that you are assigning to that particular array, the number of elements, the size is going to decided here. The same way, same thing I'm doing here. Okay, pointer array star you need to use extra. Okay, pa name pointer array. Okay, I'm saying it is array because you are using this square bracket. Okay, equals to, I'm assigning the 5 elements. You can see all these are the pointers. Okay, see, for example here you have created after this statement, after creating base class pointer, what you did, ptr equal and person b you are using, right? Same thing here I'm doing. In place of index 0 I'm storing name is base class object address. Okay, then see here, so this pa of 0, you can say like this, pa of 0 is equal to unperson a. In 0, pa of 1 equals to unperson b. In this way you can assign, right? Or else directly you can assign in this way also. We have two types of initialization for array. Okay, by using index position or else by using the square bracket you can assign. Okay, same thing I have just did here. Okay, n% a, this is for a class pointer. I'm just pointing in 0 a of 0, sorry, pa of 0, pa of 1, pa of 2, pa of 3, like that. I'm creating one array of pointers of objects type. This is not normal array, it is a pointers. These are the pointers of type objects. Okay, object pointers these are. Okay, now you have created one like a type pointer and you are storing inside pointer pa. Okay, this pa having pa of 0, pa of 1, like that. Now by using these pointers you need to call these methods. Okay, all the methods which are present inside your a, b and c and everything. Okay, simple statement. By using for loop you can access all the elements from your array, right? Okay, here I equals to 0. Okay, I will See here, these are the 5, right? 5 times this loop is going to repeat. Okay, like this part is this. For example, if you want to execute some particular code repeatedly with a loop statement, for loop condition, if the condition is true, code is going to execute. In the first case, 0, right? 0 less than 5, condition true. 0, show function is going to execute. P of 0 is which pointer it is? Base class pointer. Now base class show method is going to execute. This is going to execute. Now, like in the next case, I value become, it is incrementing, right? I value become 1, 1 less than 5, condition true. PA of 1 to show, means PA of 1, which pointer it is? Base, B class pointer. Now B class show method is going to execute. Then C class pointer is going to execute D and E. Okay, all the show methods are going to call by using this single statement. Okay, it will give the output. You can see just compile this code if errors are not. Okay, if no errors, 0 errors are there, you can go for execution, means run the code by clicking F10 or by clicking this run option. Now you can see A, B, C, D, E in the output. Okay, all the show functions are executed, okay, by using this function call. By using all the functions are, and it is printing output. Whatever the code you have written in show method, show function, okay, like those code is going to execute, and it is printing whatever the you have. You can see in this C I have just printed C. In this D I just printed D. In this E I just printed C. The same thing it is printed in the output stream. This is for your 10th program. Okay. Clear, right? Simple. By using base class, okay, like derive multiple classes, make those as a pointer by using pointer function. Okay, all the pointers I'm storing in a single pointer, that is PA. You can see it is a, okay, this array pointer, you can see this array pointer now pointing to all the objects, like, okay, all the pointers you have stored inside one single pointer. By using this pointer array, you are accessing all the methods from your classes. Also, I will share in your group.